Mark's fault. It wasn't mine.
Welcome, everybody, to day number 4 at the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. We're already just throwing the blame around here. Yeah, we're a little late, 20 minutes to be exact, but hey, better late than never. And welcome to day 4. As mentioned, we're here at Fasig-Tipton. Coming up will be another sales session, another busy day, and of course, right off the hop, because we're starting 20 minutes late, Anthony, I think we just got to get right into things and reflect on yesterday before we turn our focus to this afternoon and another busy day, active day. Let's kick things off. We've got videos to look at, horses that were purchased yesterday by the stable, and we'll start with number 408. This is Southwind Idex, is that how we're saying this? Southwind Idex. I know, well, we've been a little confused this week at times on some names. A Muscle Hill Colt, so New Jersey eligible, and this kicked the day off for you guys yesterday. 408, as mentioned, was the number there. And as I pull things up, because obviously I had 20 minutes to be prepared and I wasn't, 54,000.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
What do we think here? Muscle Hill.
As Addie says all the time, people make mistakes, Dad. All right?
I appreciate it.
408 Southwind Idex is actually how I thought he was named also. So every sale, everywhere we go, I tell people all the time, the pedigrees are nice, the videos are great. They all push you in one direction. But you still have to buy the horse, right? You still have to like the horse you're buying, and you should that should be the constant that pushes you in one direction or the other. It should be the horse that you're attempting to purchase. And Southwind Idex was not on my radar. Right, the video I thought was exceptionally good. The pedigree was good, and then when you get right into it, it was even stronger than at first glance. You know, I'm guilty, same as everybody else. When you look at a pedigree, when you look at a catalog, you look at the sires you like, or dams you like, or horses you might know. You weed through everything. This horse just really kind of was on the periphery of everything. This is a second foal from a Donato Hanover mare. Neither the first one didn't race, so again, you have nothing to look at in the top side. Second dam is Cadelia. I believe Roger Mayotte had Cadelia, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And she was a really good mare, made $570,000. Now, the missing part was what Cadelia did on the broodmare side. Cadelia threw Sorello, $1 million winner, mark of 50-2. I missed that, and it's really kind of, for such a big thing in a page, you'd think it would be
a little buried right in there.
Yeah, buried, kind of hidden right in the middle. And I'm looking, so all this took place because I saw the horse. The horse walked up to the back ring. I had a few notes jotted down about the horse because we did visit Preferred Equine and looked at a lot of horses. So I had a couple of notes, but nothing specific about the horse. Amy had a couple of notes about the horse. But again, when you look at the horse, he is an Adonis, a big, strong colt. Now, again, single eligibilities. I told everybody you were going to get penalized a little bit. I'm sorry, just the way it was in Kentucky, unless it said "and Kentucky."
Right.
There was a little haircut given, I think, to most horses. So right away there, I knew that there was a chance we could get this horse. Muscle Hills, again, held their value for the most part, as they do every year, forever. So I liked the colt, but when I saw him up in the back ring, oh my God, he was huge, he was prancing. Then you go to his video, do yourself a video, go look at the horse's video. The horse has got one of the most, for a big horse, probably one of the most athletic videos I've seen, definitely of this catalog and of recent memory. Just a beautiful horse. He's well put together. He's very correct. Got over the ground real slick. And then I go back to the page, and again I'm looking at his video again. I'm looking at the horse's page, and just a top to bottom, just an amazing individual. That's what I thought. And again, take this with a grain of salt. There's probably horsemen out there saying, "Oh, what the hell does he know?" Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe I don't know anything. I don't know. But when it comes to Southwind Idex, I just thought that horse I had missed. Given how good he looked, his pedigree, that little tidbit of Sorella that was kind of buried in the middle there, and then his confirmation of the horse himself. I just thought that this was a horse that we had to watch go through the ring. We did. The horse brought 54,000. It was funny because we were bidding. I had the horse at 50, and it was like 50 forever. And I think they thought maybe he would bring more too. Like, they already have notes on all the horses also.
They do.
100%. And you know because you've
been up there.
Yeah. So they drag it 50, 50, 50. Some person bids 51. I'm like, that's my move. You're not going to get me with my move. So I bid 52. They bid 53. And then they're like 55, 55, 55. And I looked right at the bid spot. I said, no, 54. And he looked at me and goes, all right, 54, and that was it. So we ended up getting the horse for $54,000. And although he wasn't on my list, and he wasn't on my radar, and he was on the periphery of what we were doing, man, he's a gorgeous horse.
I'm really intrigued by the next purchase. It was HIP 415 Rosetta, New Jersey, Kentucky eligible filly. by Wallner out of the Andover Hall mare, Christine, and familiar with this family, of course, and now getting a Wallner filly from it. We went and looked at her just before the show. Wow, she looks magnificent.
Yeah, she does, and this is one of those situations where we like to pay attention to any. I always say to everybody, how can we find a way in, like to a horse like Wallner, right, into a top pedigree? Are there ways in? We talked about single jurisdictions, right? They didn't say and Kentucky, although this one did.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: that horse right there, Green Tea, on the bottom of the first dam, that was our horse last year. We had him. He trained down. He was one of our best trainers all year. And the gentleman that owned him was a veterinarian from Wisconsin who ended up buying a horse with us again later in the sale this year. He just said, you know what, I just want to give the horse time.
Right.
Which wouldn't have been my route, but at the same token, his horse, he can do what he wants with it, right? So he took the horse and turned it out. Well, nobody knew that. If you go back and watch our training videos from last year, you're going to find it really quick who Green Tea is. He's a really, really nice horse and trained down great. This is his sister. So instead of you knowing that Green Tea was a nice horse, all you see is the name Green Tea with nothing beside it.
Never raced, maybe didn't make it, something wrong.
And if I'm not mistaken, Simon was a highly touted horse in the first dam and got injured when he was 2. He took that 2-year-old mark at 55, made 30,000. And if I'm not mistaken, I could be, if the trainer of Simon is out there, I'm sure he could help us with that. I believe Simon was a pretty highly touted horse and ended up getting injured pretty early in his career. So here you have a horse that I know was a good colt in Green Tea. And long, you know, as far as the long game goes, there he is there.
Chuck Sylvester.
See, shows a lot of breaks at the end of his career. He did get injured.
That was it.
Yep.
Never raced.
So that was the brother. 2 brothers. So again, the other thing is, this is the first filly, I believe. They didn't even mark that, but it is.
It would be, yes.
The first filly of the mare. And the second dam is Charmed Life and all those good horses. You see that portion of the pedigree in tons of places all over the catalog. 2 today, I believe, had the exact same. Yeah. So Rosetta, you know, I'm certainly not giggling, but as far as easy purchases were made yesterday, maybe the easiest purchase I made all year was Rosetta. There was a no-doubter when it came to Rosetta. Really, really like this filly. She's put together well. I guess the other kicker was I wasn't really that enamored with her paddock video.
Right.
It was nice, but it really wasn't an endearing thing where you're like, oh my God, look at this filly. So I think a lot of things went into that $27,000, but from where I stand right here, again, before the horse ever gets broke, trained down, or certainly raced, I think we get a head start on this filly for sure.
Next, we'll move to 502 Green Glitter, a green shoe filly. This one here, Green Glitter, purchased for $23,000, and again, dual eligible, Pennsylvania and Kentucky. And All Rush Star is the dam here, an Angus Hall mare that had a very good career on the racetrack now, and she's already produced a winner. So what do we see here with Green Glitter?
Nothing really. I saw a filly that I liked. It was, you know, when we get, there are portions of the sale where we're just looking for bargains. Right. I priced, you can see the price that I put beside Green Glitter. It was $9,000 more than what we paid for Green Glitter. I thought this was a well put together, really nice video. And there, you know, a lot of the green shoes look a lot alike. And I had a filly last year that I think got cheated towards the end of the year. She ended up getting in a situation where she was a green shoe filly where there was an accident on the highway. She was stuck on the highway. The consolation, she made a break. Just the end of her year, she just got cheated, I felt. It was nobody's fault. It's just the way that the world is. And I held her in very high regard. Her name was Insider Trading. And this filly, as soon as I saw the video, both my wife and I said, geez, that looks a lot like Insider Trading. Just the way she moves. When we saw the filly up close, her head looks just like her. Then you, again, All Rush Star, you know, no killers found on the front dam, found on the front side, but a $400,000 winner. And a very good horse in her own regard. So, as I said to, maybe it was you or my wife earlier, you know, the thing about those mares, you can't hide forever, right? If you're a good horse and you've thrown a couple of duds, you know, you look at Moneymaker.
Yeah.
How many horses did she throw before she got to international money? So you can't, and I'm not trying to, obviously not trying to compare All Rush Star to Moneymaker, but when you see a very, very good horse with a very good pedigree, you can't hide forever is the way I think about it. And when it comes to Green Glitter, here's a horse that I simply got for less than what I thought I would have to pay for her. Again, very, very good mare on the top end, very good body type, moves like a filly and looks like a filly that I have a lot of respect for. So it was, as I said, what did you see? I saw value. That's what I saw.
And that's it. And that's
Yep.
kind of been a lot of your approaches to these sales in the past, and maybe come with a few more targets this season. But again, like you said, if you see that value and you see an opportunity, why not add that one into the barn? Well, next up is 566, and this is a chimpanzee filly that you were mentioning to me. $50,000 purchase. This is for one of your clients.
Yeah, so the gentleman that owned Green Tea, Dr. Rucker, he had called me and asked me to look at this horse. We went and looked at the filly. You know, I'm sure the chimpanzee overall average is down a bit because there was one that sold that didn't look that good yesterday that sold less, and this one sold for 50. So I'm sure that average is down probably to 160 or 70, is it?
Yeah, I'm just taking a look here total for the sale. And, well, we'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So Dr. Rucker had asked me, look at this filly. I said, she looks nice. Nothing jumps off the page on the pedigree. There's lots of black print there. I see a horse that made $250,000, another one 140. In the second dam, in the third dam, there's one that made 114. Nothing that screams buy this horse immediately. Nice video, decent pedigree. You have that chimpanzee angle with the incentive program.
Yep.
But
168 is the average right now for a
168. I figured it would drop down a little bit. But when it came to this filly, at the time the average was still 190 going into that day. So here's a horse that he liked. I had no faults with the horse. He asked me what I thought. I said it should be higher, or it should be lower. You know, I think this horse could go very high, but I would think somewhere between 30 and 50 would be the top end of what you would call a seller's price for this particular horse. And we did garner the last bid of the horse at 50,000.
We'll move on to 588 Chicago Hall, Ontario and Kentucky eligible. This is a bay colt by Muscle Mass out of the Cash Hall mare Katarina Hall. Katarina Hall was a winner on the track. She's already produced one winner from one prior foal, so good start so far. And
Really
what do
good
we
start.
think here of Chicago Hall?
Look up Casanova Hall. I'm curious,
Yep.
is that an accurate number of what he made? That horse raced against me in Pennsylvania and Kentucky.
We'll have increase. It said 10,000 in the book, but
No,
should
it's
have
the
quite a-
update says 68 and
You
marked
got
at
it there, yeah.
57, 63. But I thought that horse had made even more than that. But I'm
63, 2 wins from 9 starts. And
trotted in 55 his last
yeah,
start.
raced in the
Lexington.
bluegrass here last
That's
week.
right. He was in with me, I believe, wasn't he?
No.
No, he was in the other one. Smart Schooner won it. Oh, that's the Jim Campbell green shoe horse. Yeah, I watched that race from the fence. So Chicago Hall, I really don't understand this one. I don't get it. When he first came in the back ring, I thought he was a much bigger, like almost too big type of. In fact, somebody that was with us, a friend of ours, Keith, had said that horse. Don't you think that's too big? And then I just went and saw the horse and did a video. Absolutely not. In fact,
we're looking at him right here
I
right
would
now.
say the low end of large is what I would call this horse. I just don't get it. 2 horses out of this mare. The first one was a green shoe, which was Casanova Hall, nice horse. The second dam, Cricket Hall, I believe had the track record, had the track record in Ohio at one of the tracks, had won lots of stake races throughout. You can be certain that this mare is in foal somewhere right now, Cricket Hall, 100%. This is a very, very good horse, very good family, and then what I'd like to say the foundation of this page, if you look, the third dam is Cantab Hall and all those horses. I just don't think that there was listen, I don't want to come out and say, oh, we stole this one, we stole that. You sound like an idiot, but I don't understand how this horse only brings $47,000 in the environment we've been in here in Lexington. This horse, to me, I just thought would bring, quite frankly, almost twice that. You know, I saw a couple of the resolves, or one for sure sold really high. The Green Manalishi sold high, and maybe people are cooling on muscle mass a little bit, but for what reason, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a horse that has, almost been a generational sire for Ontario, I would think, and has just been a tremendous animal top to bottom, and a great sire for the province. So when I look at Chicago Hall, I don't understand. When I saw the horse, when I did the video, when I look at this page, I still don't know how we got to $47,000 on this horse.
You mentioned about wanting to check that box in Ontario, so here was one that you were able to secure. You mentioned about Cricket Hall. That's under the second dam. They quit racing with her at the end of last year, so you're right. She'll probably be, and she'll be the kind of, her first foal will sell here and probably be in the first couple days, you would have to think. So we move on then to 608, and that would be the final purchase of the day. And as we scroll right along there, 608, this was Jimbury, a chimpanzee out of a Donato Hanover mare, and this is the family of Crystal Fashion. So here we have...
we own this horse here too, Will to Win Hanover. We sold her for a lot of money last year as a broodmare.
So this yearling is out of a sister to Crystal Fashion and to Will to Win Hanover.
That's right. Jimbury, so, I'll be honest. the last year or so, I felt very spoiled when I went to the sale. You know, it wasn't that long ago when we went to the sale. It was, you know, pick up whatever scraps we could and see if we could, you know, polish it up enough to turn it into a nice horse. And it's a very difficult thing to do. And when it comes to this year, I got my number one pick of the sale in day one in the Propulsion filly. Right, I got that really nice filly day two, the Chimpanzee filly Melisandre, and then coming into day three, there's lots of horses. I'll say that one will do or this one will do. I had to have this filly. I passed by a lot of horses in day three that might have fit the bill because I wanted to wait for this filly. This was the filly I wanted. In fact, she near kicked me in the when we were doing the video. I talked to John and Carter Dewar, were there. And he said, "You don't know how lucky you were." He said, "Because she would open fire." And she backed right up to me. And I thought just for a split second, I said, "Oh, this day's really going to suck here in a second." I thought she was going to give it to me. But she stopped. And she looked like an anomaly to me. I looked at almost every chimpanzee in the property. They all looked nice. This filly was a little bit taller and a little bit longer. Maybe, that's not fair. They all were kind of long. They had nice length. But she was a little bit taller and she did not look like the other chimpanzees. And I just thought she was an exceptionally good look, like just an exceptional individual. And that was the horse I wanted in session number 3. Gymboree, you know, a good friend of mine, Randy, and I joke all the time about Draft Day, the movie, when it says, Vontae Mac, no matter what. She was my Vontae Mac from yesterday. I wanted that filly, and you know, to get her for what we got her for. I thought we were, just for a second, I thought we were going to get her for a lot less. And I love this filly. You know, there's a lot of horses that we ended up with that I thought very, very highly of, and this filly's definitely on that list.
Obviously, she checked a lot of boxes for you, like the individual. Do you at all get concerned when the first foal never made it to the races?
No.
I mean, there's obviously a ton of reasons, right? There's so many variables.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I tell everybody, we buy these horses, right? You get them back, so then you got to break the horse, uneventfully, hopefully.
Yeah.
You know, you got to train it down. It has to stay healthy. It has to stay sound. It has to get to the races. It has to draw good in a division it can do well in, whether that's overnight or stake races, and then it has to get a good drive. So
it's about 100 things that have to happen.
A lot of things. And, you know, was the horse injured? Was it not? I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't do a deep dive and call the trainer on the phone and say, "Hey, do you remember Crystal Hill?
Yeah.
Can you tell me something about her?" Where's Crystal Hill? I'm going to probably say, in fact, I can guarantee you, because I see who the owner is, it was the breeder.
Yeah.
So I would say that horse in foal somewhere. They bought it back for $40,000 at the sale right here. You can see in 2021. And decided that they were probably going to keep it and breed it. So that's likely where Crystal Hill is, in foal somewhere in Kentucky.
All right, so that was a recap of everything that went on yesterday. And before we kind of start teeing up some of the videos about some prospects for today, what's the plan here this afternoon?
Same as it was yesterday. I mean, we know what we're looking for. Amy and I talked about it quite a bit last night, and we do need, you know, some Pennsylvania stuff, but we are going to the other biggest sale of the year in Pennsylvania in a month. So I don't think there'll be any shortage of Pennsylvania horses to purchase. Having said that, we are on the lookout. At value today, and Ontario breds. We did get one, and I still can't wrap my head around that, but we did get one, and we are going to be on the lookout for a few more. But I noticed a lot of other people here. Rob's right there. I know Jared is here looking for Jared's here also looking for Ontario breds, along with half the province of Ontario.
Saw a few more Ontario folks walking in today that weren't here the first 3 days. So.
You know, there's going to be no shortage of people from Canada that are here today. So are you going to find any value in Ontario breds? I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But at the same token, if there is, we will be there, and we will not hesitate to raise our hand. We have most, or if not all, of the Ontario breds marked and priced on my iPad, and then we'll see how we make out today at Lexington. But that's what's on tap today. On tap for the rest of the sale, value and specifics. We're looking for Ontario breds today and tomorrow. We'll see how we make out.
We were talking a little bit about chimpanzees, average being 168. That is leading the entire sale. Just pulled up the page here and taking a look, and it's amazing. That's the trotters, of course, that are leading the charge. Chimpanzee, Chapter 7, Walner, Muscle Hill. Muscle Hill at 125. That'd be interesting to see if that's maybe down a bit from previous years. It'd have to be, right?
It's impossible to believe that that horse, and you talk about generational sires. Maybe one of the best sires, maybe one of the best horses of our generation. And he raced so long ago. You know, people forget everything in this game so quickly. You know, it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you just forget about a horse. No one forgets about Muscle Hill.
No.
Ever. And he makes sure they don't, because every single year he shows up with a good horse. It seems like he's 80 years old, and he's still breeding mares, and he's still, you know, you see a horse of his age on gate or preferred once in a while, you'll see offering a share of Muscle Hill, and it's still an enormous amount of money for a horse that's ancient.
Yeah.
But he's just such a good horse, and he has been one of the best horses in horse racing ever.
Yeah, he'd have to be up there around 15, 16 years old. Now he hasn't raced, I guess, for 17 years. I think he's like 08 or 07. So, I mean, it just shows you right there the longevity and has been a generational sire, as you mentioned. Interesting horse to see on there. We were standing there yesterday in the back ring, and I Love You came into the ring. Are you intrigued sometimes by when you see those European stallions, or are you just more or less, when they don't have as much proven over here?
I think that Goo Goo Gaga and Love You this year were obviously propped up by that incentive program.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the breeders here are so smart. I never thought of that. Nowhere else does that. They didn't take a penny on the back end on the breeding incentives. They piled it all onto the racing side for the owners and thought that they would get paid off the sale.
Drive that up. And
I suspect they were bang on. They did their homework, and I never thought that.
For Love You's average price $116.
There you go.
Right.
So they're definitely getting paid on the front end. It really comes down to horse too. I bid on 2 Love Yous. I bid on 3 Goo Goo Gagas. I bid on a number of chimpanzees, and we got them. And it's not that I'm not going to overpay for what I think anyway for the incentive program, because the flip side of that is still 50% of zero. When I went to school, it's still zero.
Yep.
So you still have to go and get that money. But when it comes to chimpanzee, I think we bought 3, didn't we?
Yep.
And we did not get any Love Yous or Goo Goo Gagas, but there are a number selling also, and we do have some marked and priced. And if we happen to be in a position where one is what I would say falling through the cracks, then
Maybe.
we'll pick that one up.
So the one last thing before I let you go here, Kentucky, the program though, Corbin, will that be opening here?
It is, yeah.
In a couple
for
weeks'
sure,
time,
it's
right?
open. We have horses earmarked to go there. We're maneuvering some of our stable down towards the Corbin area. Not a big chunk, but I talked to Eric and Kathy, Eric Padlin and Kathy about going there. I talked to maybe Verlin Yoder. He'd be happy to take some also. So we have options when it comes to going to Corbin. I'm interested to see the track too, because I don't know if you made it to Oak Grove this year.
Haven't yet, no.
Beautiful facility. Really, really nice facility. And Corbin, I suspect, is much the same. I know that Verlin spent 10 minutes yesterday telling me about how much work they put into the track. And he said he was there the other day training, and it was great. Very proud of their new racetrack, and I'm very interested. I'm definitely going to get down for at least 1 or 2 of the weeks. But we'll have Memory and Imagination going there. We'll have Arson going there. A number of our 3-year-olds that are Kentucky eligible also will be going there. So it'll be fun to check out Corbin. But yes, to answer your question, it is in Cumberland Run is the name of the track in Corbin, Kentucky for sure.
And that meet last year, I guess they were a little behind. They ran that meet here at the Red Mile last season.
That's
so
exactly
now
right.
you've got a bit of a circuit going here, and it's going for several months here at this point now. When Oak Grove opens in June, and you run right through to what would be early November probably when Corbin shuts down. So
I think ultimately what they want to do is do like Ohio does, where there's somebody racing in Kentucky at all times, and I haven't looked to see what guarantees their government officials have made. I'm sure there's some. They wouldn't build the tracks if there wasn't, but it wouldn't be nice to see a meet in Kentucky that raced all year long. And I think if they get that, then you'll see a lot of people flood back. This is a beautiful place.
Oh, you can't
It's a
beat
beautiful place. And if you haven't seen Lexington, Kentucky, or the Lexington Select Sale in the fall, you don't know what you're missing. The weather's been great. This is the 1 week of the calendar year that is different from every other week in the year for sure. It's its own time.
you can't beat it. There's no doubt about that. All right, we've got some videos to tee up right now as we take a closer look at some of the horses that will be selling on day number 4.
So number 646 is a green shoe. Now, not really. I think we might be able to pick up PA Colt. We're looking for PA fillies, and we're looking for Ontario breds today. So red light, green light would definitely have to drop into our lap, as financially speaking. I said to Amy, how is this horse on day 4? He just looks better. You look at the mare Southwind Hope again. Took a mark at 54, raced at 2 by Muscle Hill, 220,000 made life, but hasn't thrown a whole lot, right? There's a Father Patrick here with 77,000 made. In the second dam, you don't have a ton of power except the mother, the Muscle Hill mother through Queen of the Hill. And then you have to look down the third dam where you see Spellbound Hanover. That's Marion Marauder's whole line. You see all that, but that's down in the third dam. So here you have a horse that I can see now why he's on day 4, although he's a gorgeous, gorgeous animal. There isn't a ton to sink your teeth into on day 1 and 2, or on dam 1 and 2. There isn't, the mother made 220, so there is speed and money in the family, but there's no, this horse made 400 or 600. There's only just a couple of horses here on the front end of this family that did very good, and as I was just saying to somebody, we are buying the individual. So this is the type of horse that could fall through the cracks. This is the type of horse that could come home to the stable because he is an exceptionally good-looking colt, but there would have to be value found here for sure. So number 646, great name, red light, green light, is a horse that we'll be watching. I'm very curious to see how this guy sells. I'll just put a number here on the page. Anyway, 646, red light, green light, selling here on day number 4. Can you walk him down one more time for me? He's a good looker. Good morning, Jamie. How are you? Actually slept in. Jeez, I was tired. I think it's because of the weather too.
Yeah, takes a lot out.
But I think when the barometer changes and the rain's coming, I always sleep better when the rain's coming. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Well, we all know the Better's Delights are notoriously small, and this one didn't let us down. Soul Power, she's a beautiful filly, but she's tiny. But make no mistake, there really can't be any size ratings for the Better's Delights because some of the fastest ones I've seen were really small horses. So Soul Power, this is a filly. Interesting line here. This is out of a Captain Treacherous mare. This is her first foal. The second dam is a dam of Semi-Tough, who made $1 million. Billy Clyde, well on his way to making $1 million. Michael Jackson's in the third dam. This is a good family. Good family, good filly. I like that she's small because it would be the only way we would be able to scoop this filly up. And I certainly have no issue with that at all. Number 656, Soul Power. Man, she's put together really, really well. But not a lot of her. Can you walk her down for me? Can you walk her around? Normally, a horse this size, I would just say, we'll move on. We'll pitch this one. You just can't with the Better's Delights. Alicorn was a midget. And that's just one that I know of. There's so many really, really good Better's Delights that were small over the years. It really has just got to the point where it doesn't matter. So Soul Power, 656, selling here today, day number 4 in Lexington. And absolutely, there's a price on this filly on my catalog for sure. So 661, we're still at Brittany Farms. 661 is Michelle. Michelle is a Poppy Rob. We didn't get one. I bid on maybe 2 or 3 so far. I never got one yet. She is a good-looking filly, March 13th. This is the third foal. Oh, this has got the stable written all over it. This is the third foal from a American Ideal mare. First 2, not much to talk about there in the first 2. And this is number 3, a little bit of a change here with Poppy Rob Hanover. In the second dam, the mother's got 385 made, a mark of 51. And the first foal from there is Winds of Change. Now, Winds of Change, a mark of 48 and 2, 600,000 made by American Ideal. So, Michelle is out of a full sister to Winds of Change. Lots of speed and power in this pedigree. And then you look down on the third dam, again, another world champion in Wake Up Peter. Wake Up Peter, 2-year-old mark of 51, 3-year-old 50 and 4. 48 and 3 after that, timed in 48 flat on a 5/8, a very good horse in his own right, $907,000 made. This is a great pedigree. Little gap at the top, which never really stopped us before. Michelle, this is a good looking filly, and she is the type of horse we love. Reason being, they say to everybody, you can't hide forever. Now, if I'm going to find faults in Michelle, little toed in as he walked her forward. Doesn't look like it now, but she is a little toed in left front. There, you can see it now. There, you can see it now. Michelle, the toed in a little bit. Yes, probably why she's down on day 4, but not really a problem at all. The American Ideals do that a lot, so that's likely where she gets that from. The family itself, very strong, second and third dam. Little weak on the top, but absolutely the type of horse that we end up with. Can you walk her down for me, dear? I like this filly. Number 661, Michelle. Let's see what this video looks like. Toed ain't that bad when she's moving, actually. You should pace it in the field. Yeah, I like this filly. So this number 665, a green Manalishi. Now we bid on a green Manalishi yesterday. It went pretty high. Good looking filly was yesterday. Now this filly, the pedigree's a little odd, right? One of these weird pedigrees where in the top mare you have one horse that made 640,000, and the rest of them combined made nowhere near even 100. It's a very odd pedigree. And then you look in the second dam, you have another one. Some girls, $433,000, and the rest of them didn't make that much money. So it's very. And then again in the third, you see there's two horses made over 100 in there, Touch of Pleasure and Tea Garden Hanover. Anyway, I'm not familiar with many of these horses. Possessed Fashion, I am. He was a nice horse, 22 wins, $640,000 made, and this is the half sister by Green Manalishi. Now, let's talk about the cons. The cons are she's a little bit toed out. Again, you see one of those little splints left front on her also. Not bad, neither of which bothered me a whole lot. As Danny and I were talking, he said, there's seems to be a little swelling here on this filly's side, but this is more more or less the horse probably just banged itself in the trailer or something, but it's something worth looking at. When it comes to 665, here's an Ontario bred day 5, and you might say, well, you know, where are the Ontario breds in day 1, 2, and 3? There's not that many at all in the sale in Lexington, but there are going to be a ton of them on day 4 and day 5. So I wouldn't discount any of them saying, well, they're day 4 horses. No, most of the Ontario breds end up on day 4, like Ohio, in Indiana. It's just the way it is. Exceptionally looking horses, or I find Ontario breds from bigger barns might end up on day 1, 2, and 3, but for the most part, you find them in day 4 and 5. So this is Sweet Lady May, 665. Again, one of those puzzle horses. Is it going to fit the puzzle? Is it what we're looking to do? Of course it is. We're looking for Ontario breds, and keep in mind, it's not that Sweet Lady May would be at a place in the Ontario Select Sale either. I'm just bringing you the pros and the cons of each horse, and I do like this filly. I do like the fact that she had a brother that made $640,000. I do like the fact that there's another horse in the second dam that made 433, and there's speed and power in the third also. So there is reason to like this filly, but like every single horse we're going to look at, there's going to be pros, there's going to be cons, and I think the tipping point will be the hammer price, the price on this particular filly. So we're going to watch number 665 and see what happens with her in the ring. Can you walk her down for me, sir?
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Maybe she's toting like wood still.
Yep. So, you know, obviously there's a lot that goes into buying horses, right? I guess you can make it as easy as picking a pretty name or a color, I don't know, but when it comes to us, there's some things that we look at. Obviously, pedigree is important, confirmation, the video, but most importantly, the horse. Now, we were here looking for Ontario breds for day number 4 and 5 particular, and I saw this horse out, and I said, geez, that's a nice horse. I went back and looked at the video, beautiful video, but when I looked down at the page, there wasn't a ton there. And what I did notice was it's a Lucky Chucky mare, number 669, Resolve Indeed. I'll be honest, pedigree's not super deep on this horse at all. But I do like the Lucky Chucky mare. I do like the fact that the video is very, very good. I do like the horse itself. So again, I'm going to put a price tag beside number 669. You can see that little splint left front under the knee. It's not the end of the world. There are things that are going against 669. The fact that the pedigree's a little light, that little splint doesn't bother me, but it is there. There's also a lot going for this filly. Can you walk her down for me, sir? Would you mind Could you walk her down? I like the way this filly's put together, and most importantly, I loved her video. Real. I'll be honest, I thought she was actually bigger in her video, but she is a real good-sized filly. The resolves have been good to us. We've only had one, so the resolves have been good to us, but at the same token, been good to a lot of people. Resolve will be missed in Ontario, I'm sure of that. But this filly right here, Resolve indeed. Little toed in, splint left front. Category's a little light, but there's still a number at the left of the page. So 669, here's Resolve indeed, selling today from Preferred Equine, Preferred Equine's consignment. So one of our newest acquisitions of the year was an aged mare in Think of Galaxies, and she has turned out to be quite a surprise. Very ordinary filly in the aged ranks when we bought her, and she turned into be an open filly. Got beaten Dayton the other night, but with a 4-hour ship, I think she washed out. And then when you look at her races at both the Meadows at Northfield, she has been absolutely fantastic. Now, call a spade, the sister, single jurisdiction sister by Huntsville, so only New York, is a bit smaller than Think of Galaxies was. Now, I talked to some people that said the mare used to paddle quite a bit, and Think of Galaxies will also. And this filly is towed in a little bit, which would make me believe that she also will paddle. But good looking filly, and I am interested because her sister has made quite a splash for us at the stable. So although I'm not lining up to bid on number 671 by every probability, the March 9th filly, I am going to look at her. I am going to watch her go through, because I do very much so like her sister, and the whole family is pretty good horses, I think, top to bottom. All 3 dams. The second dam has a $770,000 winner. Think of Galaxies herself. Should be over 300 by now, I think. Yeah, 337 with the mark that we put on her, 150 and 1. So interested, for sure interested, but I'm going to be cautious as I watch number 671 go through the ring by every probability. Okay, I think that's it.
What did you sell Jazzy Judy for, you think, at the end?
I was thanking him. He said he's one that purchased Jazzy Judy.
I pushed Jazzy Judy out.
Art joins us now from Brittany Farms, the general manager here for quite some time. Art, how did you originally get involved with Brittany Farms?
Well, my wife and I were working for Kentuckiana Farm in the late 70s, early 80s, and a job came available in Pennsylvania, Atlanta Lobel, for a yearling manager. We moved up there, and I was standing in line one day to get a lottery ticket, and a friend said, "Did you hear that George Siegel is looking for a farm manager?" And I said, "No, I didn't." And I got out of line and got on the phone and actually won the lottery that day.
I was just going to say, you did end up winning the lottery that day. So what kind of entails being the general manager with the yearlings?
Well, for several years would just call me the farm manager because I did most of the work or was involved with it, and we grew from a small broodmare band of 12 to a broodmare band of 150 at one time. So we needed a lot more help than just that. So I became an administrator basically, and Dale Logan was the farm manager, and his wife Patty Logan was the yearling manager.
And you're kind of day to day as you're getting ready for the yearling sales, kind of starting with Lexington. What does that prep look like on your end?
Well, we're lucky. We have the opportunity to have a large crew, and they take great care of the horses. So they're really and truly, very honestly, 2 weeks after they come up, they could go to the sale. Because they're all broke, they lead, they know what a bath is. It's nothing big to them. Just getting them in and getting the videos done, and after that, it's smooth sailing.
And just kind of to get the chaos of the sale going after it's done, and once you've sold some, I know, a handful already. It's crazy what they're going for this week. But once they're sold, kind of what's the process on your end? Do you bring them back to the farm? Do you ship them out?
Well, that depends on the buyer. Several of them will bring back the farm, and a lot of those will do x-rays for the owner, and other ones, they're gone that night, and And like the Tactors, they take their horses that night, usually right to New Jersey. But everybody has their own way. There's nothing, no right way or wrong way. It's just what works for you.
And when you're here, how about when do you come in and start setting up? Like, obviously, it takes a lot before the horses even get here.
Well, the best thing is I don't set up. I stay at the farm. My wife's in charge of that, and Donna, everybody, Patty, they all come in here and work and set up. But as small as we've become, as we've shrunk, it only takes about 6 hours to get it done nowadays.
That's great. And thank you for joining us here. Good luck with the rest of the week with everything selling, and hopefully we'll see some good numbers on the board.
Thank you very much.
This is number 685, Manhattan Money. We've only looked at a few international monies, but this is the best looking one. He is a first colt from a Muscles Yankee mare. Now the second dam is a dam of, these are Annette Laurenson's horses, the Lion King AS, Touchdown AS. And then back in the third year of Therapeutic, 780,000 made by Craze at 50 wins lifetime. So a lot of winners and a lot of money in this family. This horse is a little further back in the sale than he could be, I think, by the looks of him. A really good looking colt, and a colt that I'm going to be watching very, very closely. Really wasn't on my radar until I actually walked into Midland. I came here to look at another horse who I liked and did a video of, but ended up staying here for this one. Man, this is a good looking colt. Number 685, Manhattan Money. February 19th, single eligibility to Pennsylvania only, international money colt out of a first colt out of a Muscles Yankee mare. Can you walk him down for me, Jake, please? Are you positive this is day 5? Okay. What day is this? Day 4 or 5? 752. 752 is day 4 or 5?
I'd have to look at the catalog.
Day 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Philly, single jurisdiction.
have one on the last day.
Okay. Ready? Well, this is our first international money of the sale. A lot of them are towards the middle or back of the sale. We talked about why I thought they were this year, and I think that will pick up as the years go on. But for right now, Sweetest Zoe is an international money filly, a May 5th, only Pennsylvania eligible filly. Now, a little bit of a storyline here. Obviously, if you look way down to the bottom, you see Chocolatier in the 4th dam. Never Eddie, which was a Never Die, sorry, Never Eddie. Never Die in the 3rd dam. Again, credit winner, 320,000. You have Tehran, who was in the 2nd dam, of Father Patrick, $187,000 made. In the 1st dam, you have 2 credit winners. Neither of them really did a whole lot. So a little bit of a pedigree change. A little bit of a pedigree change for this mare here in the 1st dam, who's a Cantab Hall. So interesting filly here. Again, you're talking somewhere in the latter part of day number 4, and with a sire that's done us a lot of good in international money. Well put together filly, got a nice video, and I believe a horse that we might be able to purchase. So right here is Sweetest Zoe, a good looking filly selling on day number 4. Yep, can you walk her down, please, ma'am? Yeah, what about her? Yeah, I mean, I think it was at a time where I was indifferent. I didn't really care. I was watching her. I thought she raced good.
Mostly because Scotty was so thinking we were going to get our face kicked in.
Yeah.
I was like, why?
I think it was more off. That's 805, day 4. Number 805, King of Green. Now, I've seen a number of green shoes. This is a good-looking colt, way at the back of the sale. I guess day 4. It's got to be towards the end of day 4. And I don't know anything from this front dam. Oh, they all say Europe. Is it Europe, Europe, Europe? Oh, I see. Crazed, Europe, Andover Hall. So the DD's horses, I don't know who they are, but this is a green shoe, 10th foal. So I guess that's why it's towards the end of the sale, but I've seen a lot of green shoes, and this is as nice a one as I've seen yet. He's looking to box too. So King of Green, this is a green shoe colt, April 4th, only Pennsylvania. So again, that plays a role, single eligibility. 10th foal at about, and they all seem to race. And most of them seem to take 2-year-old marks also. So that's important. The second dam is 2-year-old trotting filly of the year. So again, you have that. I don't know her either. But lots to look at here, lots to read. But I'm looking at the horse. Man, this is a good looking colt at the back of the sale. I like everything about this guy. Number 805, King of Green. Selling here on day number 4. Must be late day number 4 in Kentucky. Thank you. So, number 879, we were walking through Preferred, and I said, geez, that's a pretty little horse. It's a filly by Catch the Fire, and I look, it's Sunshine's Finest sister. Blast from the past, so to speak, Sunshine's Finest. A little soreness in my wrist every morning, thanks to him, on a cool day. Now, it certainly wasn't his fault. That was the horse that did very good for us at 2, and then he was involved in a wreck in a qualifier. That was the day I broke my shoulder, my rib, my wrist. And he ended up making it back, and he's still racing to this day. So there's no denying the toughness in Sunshine's Finest. We actually had the other horse that made the most money in this family, Airstrike. We only had him for a very short time. We bought him for very little, raced him through, and I think somebody claimed him off us. Maybe we only had him maybe 5-6 starts. But he is also racing. So the whole family, clearly racehorses, they want to go. And this is an Ohio dual eligible filly. Catch the Fire, Kentucky, and Ohio eligible. Now, we had bid on a number of Catch the Fires. In fact, we got one also in the Ohio Select sale. So this filly's buried way at the end, day 5, because that's where the Ohio horses sell. So not buried, I shouldn't say that, but on day 5 here in Kentucky. Now, worth noting, this is the 13th foal. Oh, Big Fred to be pumped. This is the 13th foal of the mare. But they're all racehorses. The whole page is racehorses. And although we aren't in the market for another Ohio bred, I think we could always take one more on if the opportunity presented itself. So number 879, Chasing Fire. Brother to a couple of horses, a sister to a couple of horses that we had in the past. Airstrike for a short time, and then Sunshine's Finest, who I'll always remember, for sure. I'll always remember Sunshine's Finest. So, a good-looking filly. And you might say, well, she's small. All the Catch the Fires are. He was a very, very tiny horse. But as far as horses are concerned, she's put together very, very well. 879, Chasing Fire, here on day 5 in Lexington. What's that?
Lennon.
Oh.
How come I'm the only one not allowed on YouTube?
Oh, fucking the kids are brutal at
They
it.
can, like, she'll go on it herself.
Welcome back to Fazek Tipton, as you can see on the screen right there. Originally, when we came down here this year, we'd planned to do 4 shows, but after some persuasion from Anthony, looks like the crew will be sticking around tomorrow, and we'll be back with another show for day number 5 of the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. We'll get things underway probably tomorrow around 5:30. There is racing in the afternoon, so it's a night sale session starting at about 7 p.m. So we'll look forward to that. We'll be back with you tomorrow, but we still have more coverage coming up here today. Stick around. We'll be right back.
John joins us now from Peninsula Farms. And John, how is it, owning with your family, growing up on a breeding farm?
Well, it means not a whole lot of time off. Our main thing is this part of the time of year where we're prepping yearlings and bringing yearlings to sell. We used to sell quite a bit more than we do now. We've cut back quite a bit, and probably look in the future to cut back even a little bit more. It's an exciting time. Your whole year kind of depends on this. So, but the sales been strong this year. We've been pretty happy with a few light spots, but overall pretty good. But it's always a very busy time of the year.
And coming into the sale, when you have kind of expectations where you think some of the yearlings fit, how is it? Do you get nervous when they're going through the ring or when people are looking at them?
Yeah, I mean, especially for our clients, because that we're representing them and we want them to get a fair value for their horse.
Mm-hmm.
We always are looking to get a little bit more, but you got to be happy with the majority of the prices they've been bringing now. But yeah, it is a little nerve-wracking.
And like you said, it's, an all-year process having the farm here, and kind of there's never really any downtime. Is there a favorite time of year for you? Like a specific thing that you guys do that you're kind of like, this is your favorite thing?
Well, actually, right after the sales are over, it's kind of a nice time because you got a little gap between that and foaling season. So I would say, and you're able to do stuff as a family more, get away. But until then, you're pretty all hands on deck. Yeah.
And who is all involved family-wise on your end?
Okay, so my mother and father, of course. I have two sisters that are involved pretty extensively, Teresa and Donna. And then my niece Bella is also involved. So we're kind of all of us do our little thing to kind of help along, and then so there's four of us, kids that are pretty well involved.
It's great to hear kind of that next generation taking over and really being as passionate as your parents are.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, this is kind of all we know. We all kind of do other things too, but we all come together to still do this.
Well, thank you for joining us here today, and good luck for the rest of the week in the sale.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine recently introduced its exciting new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To create your account or learn more, visit www.preferredequine.com or call 914-773-7777.
All right, welcome back to thestable.ca's coverage of the 2023 Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. By popular demand, Amy McDonald has joined us. Amy, you might not realize this, but we've had people asking, when are you going to get interviewed?
I'm actually surprised that you said that, to be honest, but here I am.
They want the brains.
It took a lot of coaxing.
It did, and not because we didn't have any guests lined up and you were sitting right behind the camera, but no.
That had nothing to do with
No, it had nothing to do with that, because we asked you on day 1, so now we're at day 4. How have you been enjoying your time in Lexington? I guess you guys have been here, what, week and a half almost?
We got here Thursday because we did have some horses racing at the Red Mile, so yeah, it's almost been a week already.
Yeah, so a week and a half total, I guess is what I should have said. How exciting was it to see Pickpocket win?
That was really a great experience. We've never, been in the winner's circle at the Red Mile, and it was really special, and it was unexpected. So yeah, that was really fun, and the best part about it was the lady Kathy that's been taking care of Pickpocket all summer. She was just so nervous and excited, and she was in tears, and it's really nice to see that the people that are supporting us and helping us out, that they really care. And she, they did a great job. They've been down in Kentucky for a while for us, and I enjoyed seeing her excitement as well as my own.
Well, that was a pretty special moment, and Pickpocket will race tomorrow, so hey, we never know, maybe you can double up, but nice to see, as Anthony was telling me, that horse is really trending in the right direction, especially at this time of the year. But of course, you're here for the sales as well. It's been a busy 3 days for you guys. I know Anthony was kind of modest when I asked him, but when you're bidding 6 figures, how are you feeling? What's your emotions like?
It's nerve-wracking. I kind of stay in the back and quiet and just kind of watch. But yeah, no, it's a new experience for us, because I think he said before, like, when we first started coming to the sales, like day 4, day 5, that was our day. And, we did what we could, and we did well with what we had, and so it's kind of, you're in a different kind of, I don't want to say pool, but category, I guess.
Yep.
This year's been a lot different. The horses that we're looking at, the ones we're pulling out, the ones that we're spending time looking at, were never, ever, ever on our radar in past years. So it's this year's been a lot different than the other year. Sorry, the other years.
Yeah.
So it's been good. It's just, like I said, it's a little more intense, a little bit more. I don't know.
I can know what you're saying, though, right? But it's cool to be in that position, I'm sure, right? Because you said it's been several years and it's built up to this now, and I mean, to see the support of your clients, everyone around you, and then to also see I've been here a few years with you guys, but to watch when you go by to the different consignments and you have several horses listed, and then they're also saying, hey, do you mind looking at this one as well?
Yes, and it's a different relationship now with the consigners. They kind of know who we are, they know what we do, and I think they like what we're doing, and they're very accommodating for the most part. So that's also really nice to see.
All right, let's talk about a few of your favorites that you guys have purchased so far. Hip 125 was the final horse on night 1. Memento Mori. This was the sibling to Kierkegaard K. A Chapter 7 colt. Had to wait right till the very end of night 1, but you were pretty happy.
Yes, Chapter 7s, I kind of lean towards them. They're hard to get. We've never really been able to get them all the time, and I did know the sibling quite well just by watching it race and hearing the name a bunch of times. So not really one that we thought we'd be able to get, but I was really happy with that purchase. It was just something that, it was one that I really liked on my page, for sure.
Next up, 235, as I scroll along there, another one that you kind of picked out as one of your top selections, Yves St. Kemp, a Walner colt, and Anthony was talking about a little bit earlier, but Walners were in such high demand, so to have a chance to get some Walners, that's got to be fun, and there's some good pedigree here.
Yes, like you already said, Walners, they're actually, tactical landings, really hard to get this year. Walners for the past few years have been really tough. So you kind of have to pick your spots and look at all of them, and hopefully one of them will, not everybody all the time wants the same horses. So you have to have backups, and you have to have, plan Bs, plan Cs, plan Ds sometimes. So I was really happy to get this guy.
Noticing the trend of the trotters, though, you lean that way, right?
I do. And not to say that 235 isn't a nice horse. He's a gorgeous animal. It's just, like you said, you have to kind of, when you pull out a pacer, you really have to just kind of look at the individual differently.
Right.
It's not the same, score sheet when you're looking at a trotter versus a pacer. So I'm learning, I'm getting better at it, but I do kind of trend towards the trotters.
Well,
and that's because of Anthony.
Of course. Well, we'll continue with that. A chimpanzee filly you guys got was 375, Melisandre, and I could tell right away you were pretty happy.
Yes, I love that filly. She's so sweet, and sometimes too, like it's funny how when you're bidding on a horse and you kind of want to see it and you see who else is bidding on it, and when it's certain people, you're like, okay, we're going in the right direction.
Right.
Like if we're bidding against this person for this horse, we saw the same things. We saw a nice horse. So the other chimpanzee we got yesterday, also bigger than this filly, really nice, also. But this filly I was drawn to, for sure. She's just a sweetheart.
She has a great pedigree. The page stands out. There's no doubt about that. And just looking at her, I thought she was really, really beautiful. Looking ahead to now, when you guys start to, I know there's still a few more sales coming up, but when you guys already have them back in Ohio and the different spots, getting them ready, how much fun is that for you to work with the babies?
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
I obviously I love the racehorses too, but it's really fun to. It's almost like you become proud of them as the year goes along, and you work with them every day. And then when you finally get to that race bike stage and going behind the gate, and you see them excel, it's almost like you feel proud of them, kind of like how you do with your own children when you see them doing great things. So by far, it's for sure my favorite part.
Speaking of children, do they miss you?
I don't really. For sure they do. Yeah. No, we can talk to them every day, but they're doing great. They're doing well.
All right, well, Amy, this went longer than I told you it would, but we had to lie to you to get you to sit down. So thank you for doing this. Couple more days coming up, and good luck tomorrow in pickpocket races. That'll be a lot of fun again. And you said it, winning at the Grand Circuit at the Red Mile, kind of, I think it almost solidifies, right? Like people see you here at the sales and whatnot, but you're trying to buy champions, you're trying to buy good racehorses, and there you go, right? It's all comes together and it's full circle.
Absolutely.
All right, Amy, thanks so much. We'll take another time out and we'll be right back.
Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine recently introduced its exciting new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easy as 123 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To create your account or learn more, visit www.preferredequine.com or call 914-773-7777.
Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
More. All right, welcome back here at Fasig-Tipton. Day 4 of the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale is coming up. The session will get underway at 1 p.m. Our next special guest is Mark Etzel. And Mark, you've been hovering around here, so we knew we'd get you in the chair at some point.
At some point you were going to hook me, right?
Yep, it was pretty much a given, but
There we go.
how are things going? How's the trip been so far?
God, the trip was good. The search is a little tough, but yeah, we'll give her a go today.
Yesterday, you were able to purchase one, a sibling to a horse that you have in Sweet Carry T. Was that one you certainly had targeted?
Not really. I just the filly I have is not bad. She's just average, but this one's a little bigger, a little stronger, and I wasn't going to let her go cheap. So we're going to give her a try.
So for yourself, though, what's your target going into the winter? How many babies do you like to have?
We're looking at probably around 8 to 10 this year. So.
And this year has been another pretty good season for the barn, I'd have to say.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, we had a colt kind of step up and surprise us a bit, and Willow Time, and the rest of them have been pretty well on target. So.
Well, we'll talk about Dare Castle in a second, but I did want to ask you about Willow Time, and you mentioned it there. It kind of stepped up, surprised you a little bit?
Yeah, he started off slow. He was big and growthy, and he just come into himself when we hit around the 220 mark. So, and then he excelled from there. I know. I have a certain employee that thought we should have Amished him early, but we won't mention his name.
I guess we won't, but that's all right. Name probably gets mentioned other times. All right, let's talk about Dare Castle, though. And last year, the last 2 seasons, I mean, tremendous seasons. I'm not sure there's been a horse that's just made the most of the Ontario program the way she has.
Yeah, she made over $1 million and never went like 35 minutes from home.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's very exceptional, and we're very grateful for it.
You've been pretty strategic with how you've raced her this year, it seems.
Yeah, I protected her a bit this year. 4-year-olds, they're a very tough year for them to step up against the older horses. We staked her lightly this year, maybe next year a little heavier.
So that'd be the plan, is to bring her back next year?
Well, right now it is,
Yeah.
So.
It seems like she's been in pretty good form, and the way she raced on Jug Day in the Miss Versatility, I mean, just need a couple more steps.
Just a couple more steps than what he got there.
And looking ahead, Breeders' Crown the target?
That's the target right now, unless something changes, yeah.
But this group of older trotting mares, there's no Atlanta anymore, but there's a lot of good mares.
There's a lot of good mares, yeah, and they're pretty even. On any given day, it depends who gets the best ride.
So the one thing I found interesting, and you mentioned it right there, is the fact that you didn't have to go very far with her. She racked up a ton of earnings, a lot of accolades. But is that something that maybe as you decide to bring her back maybe next year at 5, is that going to maybe play to your advantage? Just how lightly traveled she's had to be?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that we didn't over race her and abuse her, and I hope that she's a little fresher than some of the other ones.
Now, I've asked this question to a few of our guests that have come along here, but do you remember the first time you came to Lexington?
Do I remember? Yeah. Yes, I do. Actually, I can't tell you the year, but I know we flew down in this little 3-seat Cessna, and I was stuck in the back, and it was freezing cold. That's what I remember about Lexington.
That's probably not the experience most have had this week, and it's been extremely hot, but it's been nice. And I'd imagine, you come down here, maybe you're hoping to do a little business, but just getting away and getting down here has to be nice.
Yeah, a couple of days off was kind of nice. Actually, yesterday I just sat around here most of the day because I was just trying to relax a bit.
So what's the plan? Stay through tomorrow as well?
I think we are.
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet.
Wait
It
and see
depends
how
what
it goes.
happens today, but we're going to stay for the races tomorrow for sure anyways, and then decide whether we stay at night or not.
And you've raced there at the Red Mile. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
No,
does
it's
it?
great. It's great. It's great for the horses. It's exciting races to watch. There's a matchup we want to see tomorrow. So
Definitely. That is it. Well, Mark, appreciate you taking some time to join us. Like I said, we knew we'd get you in the seat. So thanks for doing this. Good luck today at the sale. And best of luck as the racing season rolls along. You got a
Awesome.
couple of really nice horses there. Good barn overall. And hey, there's still a lot of money to be made before the season's done.
Still some money in.
All right. Good luck. Thanks so
Good.
much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back with more coverage here from Fasig-Tipton.
Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine recently introduced its exciting new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To create your account or learn more, visit www.preferredequine.com or call 914-773-7777.
Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine recently introduced its exciting new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To create your account or learn more, visit www.preferredequine.com or call 914-773-7777.
Own a little and love it a lot. thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine recently introduced its exciting new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To create your account or learn more, visit www.preferredequine.com or call 914-773-7777.
Drugs. What's that? Thanks a lot, Curtis. You're supposed to let us know when the mic is up, but that happens sometimes.
That gentleman over there has a large briefcase. He thought it might have drugs in it. I said, money, probably just papers.
It probably was just papers. I don't think anyone just shows up with a big suitcase full of cash here. But that said, there are cops out there.
But you said drugs. I said
didn't
cash.
say drugs. So, all right. Anyways, welcome back. This is a good way to come back here. We continue to get ready towards day number 4 of the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. And, as we talk about everything going on in the world of the stable, yesterday was actually a pretty big day, and not because of the sale, but on the racetrack. Spitfire Overseas equaled the track record at the Meadows, 152-2. We were watching the race while standing in the back ring. One of his rivals in that race decided to chop out some pretty big fractions.
Yep.
Sat back, was certainly the best in that race, trotted home in 28-3 coming on by. Dave Palone was doing the driving. Great steer as it turned out. Didn't have to use him too much for a 52-2 mile. Tim Twaddle's done a really nice job with this horse over the last several weeks where just looks like he's been trending in the right direction. Won by a length and a quarter yesterday after winning by 7 in the Keystone.
Yeah, I mean, the story behind Spitfire is pretty impressive. This is a horse that he started out the season with very high hopes.
Mm-hmm.
Like we debated in the Hamiltonian, I think a lot of big races. I drove him his first start in the Bunker Hill race at Plain Ridge. I was third to Aki Svansted's good horse, Kyle Sean Road, that won the big race at Yonkers. So, and to be honest, if I don't get a little bump in the last turn, I think I might have run him down. I think I was only beat a length and a quarter. I felt that after the race, I maybe, which only made me happier for things ahead for this horse. Mm-hmm. He'd raced. That was the race there, and then he had. Where did we race him next?
Went to PA for a bit. The All Stars, the Sire Stakes.
Yeah,
Had a
Scott
win.
raced him. He went in 53 for Scott. Come 27-4. Megan raced him once more. He raced very well, and then he come back to the Meadows, and he just didn't seem right. There was just something off about him. He just felt a little weaker. We drew his blood a couple of times. Tim, we couldn't get to the bottom of where this tired horse came from. And raced him twice more, and then Megan raced him, and he was beat a lot of lengths. He raced poorly, and you could tell that day that he had probably flipped his heart.
Right.
And we had him looked after the race, and sure enough, he was an AFib. We brought him back to Ohio, and this is, I wish we had Dr. Latessa here to explain it a little better, but just skipped a beat, right? And brought him back to Ohio, and Dr. Latessa was the one that actually treated him and got his heart squared away. And every horse is different. So we had a scare in the sense that we didn't know if this would repeat, if this was something that would come back. And more than likely, it was something that was probably caused by Lasix, right? And that's not to say that it's Lasix's fault. Just a big horse, big stud in the heat. Maybe he didn't replenish his fluids as quickly as we had hoped he did. And over time, over that 3-race period, it mounted with the culmination in that really poor performance. And then we had got his heart fixed up. He felt great. About a week later, he started coming around. We started jogging him, training him. And then for him to qualify for the final, that was bumped right up until, if everything went perfectly, you might be able to have this horse ready for the final, maybe. We raced him in the final. He was not coming in even remotely as tight as he could have. Mark drove him, and I said to Mark, I'm not going to lie to you. The horse is short.
Yeah,
we trained him up tight. I think I trained him in 58, but you're racing against the best horses in Pennsylvania, coming off AFib, time off in the stall, jogging back, a couple of training trips, a mile in 58, and then for him to go out and trot in 53-1 was just absolutely
got a fifth.
Incredible, the mile he went. Had a week off, and then I think I come back and finish second with him. Thought he probably should have won that race, but he's giving him a wide berth at this point.
Sure.
And then for him to come out and just dominate for Ronnie Wren, and Ronnie said, Anthony, I went in 53 with the earplugs in. And then Dave Palone came first over, no earplugs in, but looked incredible in 52-2. This horse is rounding back into form. He is eligible to a lot of stuff still. We have the Liberty Bell next week. We have the races in Indiana, and he is paid into the Breeders' Crown. And I know that my brother Mark was lobbying for him. He had driven him in the final. He was lobbying for him to go into the Breeders' Crown. We'll see. I told him, I said, I'll tell you what, we'll let the horse tell us if he wants to go to the Breeders' Crown. Hey, Cam, ask Danny just to come back for a sec, will you? That gentleman right there in the black shirt. We're trying to get Danny O'Brien on the show. He's a bit reclusive. Very, very quiet
like he hears
man.
the footsteps. He's hustling away there.
Very quiet man, but
Actually, what I was going to ask you about Spitfire Overseas is the fact that you guys had to take that little break mid-season.
May have helped him.
Right?
May have helped him going into the final. You're right.
And you're right. It might have. But just looking ahead here, I mean, last year he was a Breeders' Crown finalist, so I can totally see why some might say, let's go for this again. That being said, I mean, he's probably got some more potential even as this year ends and you go into next year, right?
And you know what? You touch on a great point, because a lot of our clients, we've got to the point where we were moving some horses and selling some of our 3-year-olds because they'd like we had a horse that I just loved. His name was Austral Hanover, but he had reached that ceiling. You guys were there when he raced on Adios Day and won that day, and you couldn't ask for a nicer horse to drive. But he got to the point where when he turns 4, he's got 120,000 made. He's got 7 or 8 wins. Now you are in open condition level. I don't mean open trotter, but I mean all age condition level. And that's tough for 4-year-olds. That transition posed a real problem for some of our horses. Some of the other ones weren't. But what we're trying to do as we go down that road is trying to figure out, okay, what does it take for an average horse to transition to a 4-year-old racehorse? And can this horse, do I believe that this horse can jump forward?
Right.
And when it came to Austral, I knew that there was a price. All this culminates in a price again, much like the sales. This is what I believe Austral is worth. If we can get this price for him, then he's a sell.
You're not giving him away.
100%. Yeah. And that's what we did. But when you look at a horse like Spitfire, I mean, how many wins does he have? There's a horse with only 5 wins. Only 5 wins, and he just equaled the track record. I'm not really that worried about Spitfire overseas as a 4-year-old. I think that transition will go very well. And just so happy with the way he's come forward. You got another horse like my wife and I love a horse named Brace for Landing, and his first cousin sold last night for $300, I think. That family is just all chock full of speed and money. Brace for Landing has shown flashes where he's going to be a nice horse, but still has that real physical immaturity. And what I'm looking for is to see him. Show me what you look like. Show me what you look like when you're filled out and you're matured and you grow up. What do you look like then? And I'm willing to double or even triple down on time with a horse like Brace for Landing. It's much easier for a horse to already prove himself, like Spitfire also.
Absolutely. Like I said, I thought he looked fantastic yesterday and trending in the right direction. There's still some money on the table. There's no doubt about that. We're going to go to an interview now as Jamie McDonald caught up with Blair Burgess.
Blair Burgess joins us now, and a man who almost needs no introduction here. You've won a ton of races, and we were just talking off camera. You had your friend naming kind of everything you've done, which is such an amazing career.
It's a long time ago. Some of those successes now, but yeah, I guess I've won the races that most people want to win. I guess if the so-called big races, but some of it's a distant memory now.
Well, let's go back into that memory box a little bit. Lexington, we were talking about, you've been coming here for a while. What is it that brings you back every year?
Oh, the Red Mile. There's really nothing better. It's like the best horseman's convention you could put together. Beautiful weather usually. Great clay, big mile track. Great rate. Best horses race here, and then the horse sales. I mean, thinking back now, way back, Fruger May, Meadowlands Pace winner here, like 35 years ago, and then I bought Glide Master here, 17 or 18 years ago. He won the Hamiltonian. I bought Amiga Hall here, the other Hamiltonian winner, also in Kentucky. Different sale, but it was they consolidated the sale since then. So 3 of my best horses were purchased at this sale, and it's just the place to be, and it's easy to look at them too.
Absolutely. They set it up great here. We can walk consignment to consignment, and it's so easy to find everybody.
It is. I guess some people might bitch about the longer walks. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's maybe a little longer walk than you're going to run into in Harrisburg, I suppose. But generally, you can't complain. It's a super setup for sales.
So this week you've bought 2 horses. Can you tell us kind of about them and what drew your eye to them?
Well, I have trouble because I'm buying in a lower price bracket. So you're stretching out at the sale to buy dual eligibility. Yeah. And some jurisdictions too are tough, and some sires are tough. So I try to go a little bit off the beaten path and go, maybe the things that aren't the hottest, but get a lot of maternal family, get some pedigree in there, and of course get confirmation too. So I got a green shoe colt out of a Muscle Hill mare, out of a sister to Emoji Hanover, the good filly that Luke Blay has, and he looks very good, and I think he was what did I say, 241, I think, and he hip number 241, and he was 22,000, I think.
So good bargain price on that one, especially.
I guess, yeah. When you convert the dollars over and everything, it's not as much. Doesn't seem like as much of a bargain when you get home, but still, it's all relative. At this sale, that's well below the average.
Yeah, exactly. When the averages are going, in the hundreds, it's a good price, and you don't need to spend hundreds of thousands to get a good horse here.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm a consignor's worst nightmare, I guess, because a lot of the good horses I've had were cheaper horses. I mean, I have, in my heyday, bought some six-figure horses that turned out okay, but my champions were, my wheelhouse is in sort of the 15 to 30 range. I've seemed to have found my best horses. But that means there's good stock throughout the sale. I mean, that just proves that the consigners don't bring any weak horses here. They can't sell them all for six figures, 500,000, but it just proves they know their stock and they're bringing power here throughout the sale.
Absolutely. And you've kind of got into a little bit of selling shares. Can you tell us how that came about and kind of what your model looks like?
I'm not really sure totally. My kids have put it together, but I'm copying Anthony a little bit, unfortunately. But I'm not really trying to get into really, really tiny pieces. I'm just looking for some new clients and branch out a little bit, be a little more known. I've had a consistent group of solid people that have supported me despite so-so racing results of late. But and I'm still happy with those people. But I just thought I'd try and expand my horizons a little bit.
Absolutely, getting in kind of, fresh faces into the industry too at a lower price range, because it can be a lot. Even, 20,000, someone can go, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm on social media a lot too much, people would say, with political nonsense. So I think that my kids wanted me to use my Twitter, use my Facebook more efficiently and try and promote the business instead of causing trouble.
And working with your family is a great way to do it. Anthony does that as well. And it's not a model that he doesn't want anyone else to use. He's absolutely for everyone use it. He thinks it's great and thinks it's kind of a better way to get new faces in. And hopefully that works for you guys as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, my father was involved in Anthony before he passed. He was heavily involved with Anthony. I think he really liked it. He loved it a lot. And despite having horses in my barn, I know he had a lot of horses with Anthony. And I think Anthony was a big fan of his. I think he even did some legal work for Anthony. So I was involved sideways through that early in Anthony's go. And I did train a couple for Anthony too. So we've always been friends. And I used Anthony as a driver, long before he got involved in this. So I'm happy. I think he even posted us on his site.
Yeah, and it's really a community sport. I mean, everyone from Canada comes down and has dinner and drinks every night here. And even though everyone's kind of bidding against each other for those Ontario or dual eligible yearlings, but everyone really is family.
Oh, yeah. You see that in harness racing whenever somebody's sick or hurt or something. We all band together to try and raise money to help people. I think it's a community. It's a tight-knit community. Sometimes too small a community, but generally a lot of interrelationships, and maybe it goes too far. But generally, yeah, it's great that it is a family.
Well, thank you for joining us here, and good luck.
Sorry, sorry, I forgot only because I'm a promoter now. Yeah, the pacing colt, what did I say, 494, I think? Yeah. He's a Captain Crunch, another sire that they're a little bit down on, but he was a great racehorse, and he still got a great group of mares his second year, so I don't know why he can't produce. And he's a great individual, big, strong colt, and I'm happy with him so far, too.
Hopefully this is the year that he can for you.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe I can make a sire.
Well, thanks for joining us here at thestable.ca.
No problem, thanks.
Is that all right? Back and a little smoother this time coming out of the break. Pleased to be joined now by our next special guest, Danny O'Brien. Danny, I saw you walking by, and Anthony said we have to get him in here. He wanted to make sure you got a little camera time and also just allow you to kind of talk a bit about, well, first of all, he says you've been driving horses forever. But also he said your guys' relationship at times on and off for quite some time now. How far does it go back with Anthony?
Right back to the start. Before the stable, actually, we were together. I don't even remember what year it was, but I think it was around 1990. But yeah, we've seen a lot of yearlings since then, that's for sure. Some good, some bad. Some situations, but a lot of good situations for sure. Yeah.
Looking at where things are today, especially with the stable, and you've been an integral part over the years, and in the development of a lot of these young horses, it's pretty cool to see where it's gotten here in such a short time, really.
Yeah, he's done very well. He does a great job at the whole thing. He's not afraid to try new things, that's for sure, and it works a lot.
Well, Anthony was telling me though that sometimes you guys respect your opinion, but sometimes you guys don't necessarily have the same opinions. You say it's getting a little closer now as time goes along, but is that kind of maybe some of the fun of this entire sport, though? Is everybody can see something a little different?
Oh, 100%, yeah, for sure. Everybody, like, if you don't do it that way, like, you can't come forward. Like, everybody's input is important, I think, yeah.
Now here this week here in Lexington, how's your experience been?
Very good, because we're back again. I think this is my third time in Lexington, and even if we don't buy a horse, it's fun to come here, that's for sure.
You were mentioning you were out there this morning taking a look at some horses, not just for yourself, but Anthony asked you to take a look at a few as well. I guess everyone has, like we said, they see things a little different. They look, want to know the confirmation. I mean, what do you generally lean towards? What's something that really stands out to you when you're looking at a young horse?
Well, confirmation is important to me for sure. Their airways, their eye, their mouth, actually. Their mouth is important. Feet. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different things to look at, but it's hard to find a perfect one. And you know what? Like, if we find the ones that we think are perfect, they're hard to buy.
Exactly. I guess everybody else sees them too.
Yeah.
If there's one thing though, because you said it takes a perfect horse to check all those boxes, but if there's something that you can kind of live with, if they maybe don't have it, or there's something a little off, what would that be? Is there anything specific for you that you can kind of give a pass to?
Depends on the gait.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of the trotters can be back on their knees a little more than the pacers, I think. And but like if they stand, like, videos are important too. Like, the videos, like, to me, if a horse doesn't have a good video, I don't even go look at them.
It's all right. So you put a lot of stock into that naturally, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So last question for you here. We were talking about the young horses and their development, and you were saying just how much fun it is to watch them grow day by day. The one thing I'm always fascinated by, though, is when trainers or drivers will say, this horse didn't show a whole lot, and then all of a sudden it clicked.
100%.
But for yourself, what do you chalk that up to? Is it just sometimes naturally they have that ability, like it's already kind of bred into them, or is it just some are slow learners?
I think it's just the actual work. Like, some of them are a little longer developing, like, just they need more work. Mm-hmm. And like, sometimes you start out with a bunch, you think you got the good one over here, and then end up being the good one over there. Like, the ones you got to walk before you run, and
that's a good way to put it.
Some of them have to walk before they run, type of thing, and they come around that way. I don't know. It's hard to tell. And other times you start out with a nice one, and it continues to be a nice one right on through. So it's kind of hit and miss, but we give them all a chance anyway.
Probably a little bit like trying to solve a mystery at times, eh? You just kind of see where it takes you.
Yep. Yeah, try this and you try that.
Well, Danny, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your time down here, and appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us.
My pleasure.
All right, Danny O'Brien. We'll be right back. In fact, it looks like I got a message here. Jamie has another interview. She's standing by with Steve Jones.
Steve Jones joins us now here on thestable.ca from Cameo Hills. And tell us what it's been like so far this week for you guys.
It's been great. The weather's been beautiful. The horses have sold terrific, and it's been a great week so far.
How many do you have here at your consignment in Lexington?
We're selling 31 total. We've got 24 that came from the farm and 7 that came from another farm, so 31 total.
And you said they're selling great so far. Any expectations that have been met or exceeded on your yearlings?
Well, the public and the people in there bidding are the one that determine the prices. Now, so far, we've sold the highest price Walner colt in the sale. We've sold the highest priced Poppy Rob filly in the sale, the highest priced Petitier's Wish filly in the sale. we're partners with Vucare Farm, and they sold the highest priced puppy rub colt in the sale. So we've had several highlights and other ones that sold well. The sales have been strong and the weather's been great, so we have no complaints.
Now, looking at offspring of, first crops and things like that, where are you finding that people are looking at the horses? Like, which ones are kind of being pulled out more often?
Well, they like the poppy robs. I mean, it's first crop poppy rob. They like the tall, dark strangers, but that'll get them out of the stall. But they still have to like the individual, and they still have to have the pedigree. So, if you have all that, you're going to do well.
And everyone kind of looks at them a bit differently, whether it's trainer, owner. There's lots of drivers around too that are walking around looking at horses, which is great. But is there a consistent thing, conformation, breeding, videos that they kind of come back to, that they're really looking at?
You kind of have to have it all to get the top of the market, and if there's pieces missing, the public will let you know that pretty quickly. I mean, if you have one that's well bred but doesn't have the conformation, you're not going to be selling at the top. So you kind of have to have everything to get the big money.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. What is the highest sold yearling you guys have ever sold? Right.
Okay, let's see. We sold 2 horses down here 2 years ago, and they both brought $400,000. And that same year down here, we sold, Instagram model brought $350,000 and another one for $300,000, and one at Harrisburg we were partner for $375,000. So we had several highlights 2 years ago, but this year the 2 highest are $375,000 and $350,000, another one for $220,000. So we're not complaining.
And once they leave your farm and kind of head on their next adventure, which is, breaking, racing, all of that, do you keep an eye on them? Do you kind of follow them through the career?
From the time they start racing, when they race, we know when they race, and with the access of the internet now, I watch the races and see when they're in their go, and obviously are cheering for all of them. And we stay in Huntsville, and we root for those Huntsvilles as well. So I follow all of it all the time. It's all I do.
Now, this is a family-run farm, and the boys have been working hard this week. Whether you're around or not, we've walked past and they're working, just so you know. But how is it working as a family, 24/7, every day, all year long? It never stops.
What's great for me, they probably get sick of me more than I get sick of them. It's the most gratifying part of the business is the fact that it is a family business. My 2 sons, Tyler and Jake, have joined the business and seem to enjoy it, and they're learning the business, learning everything about the farm and work and so on. And my wife, Kathy, is very involved in the business. She's home now because she's rehabbing a little injury that she had. She had a knee replacement, so she's home rehabbing. But anyway, everybody's involved, and working in close quarters with your family day after day can get probably a little annoying for them more than me. But it's great.
Well, thank you for joining us here, and good luck on continued success this week.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Passing Tipton. A couple minutes away from the start of day number 4 of the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. Anthony's back with me to wrap things up. Anthony, a couple topics we want to touch upon here before we do conclude today's show. We were talking about some of the stars of the stable, I guess you could say, or some of the horses that are racing right now. One of those horses that we didn't touch upon yet that's on the comeback trail is Carter Michael Dale. Another horse coming into his 3-year-old season with a lot of promise, but had to be shut down for a while. But like you said, getting a little closer now.
It's just horse racing. It's a great sport, but sometimes it is pretty crushing. His last start, what date was that?
That would go back to May 8th.
So on May 8th,
scratched on May 22nd.
So driving off winner in 53-4, 27-4. Now when you talk about a colt when it's his second start of the season, he wins in 53 at Mohawk. you're turning some heads. People are starting to pay attention, and I certainly was. Just a beautiful horse. He was a little bit off the next week jogging. Dominic had called and said, I don't know. He said he wasn't like this training down, so I don't know whether he's something bothering him or what, but you might want to get it looked at. We had it looked at, and I think it was either Dr. Bosenjack or Dr. McKee had said what they thought looked like a line in his sesamoid. So we ended up ensuring that that's in fact what it was, and it was. So we gave him the time, jogged him back, swam him. He took a hair longer than we thought just because he's so big and heavy, but he's on the comeback trail, as you said now. He trained great the other day. Dominic had called me. He was pretty excited about the way he trained. So we're really excited about him. We talked about those 3-year-old, everybody wants to win all the races, but it is very important that you understand that a sound, healthy Carter Michael Dio at 4 can be any sort of horse, right? We're not going to jip him and try and patch him together for his 3-year-old season when he has so much promise heading into the rest of his career. So I am excited about him. I know Dominic is, and I know our clients and partners are at the stable. As of right now, fingers crossed, he has been great training back, and really looking forward to him.
Okay, let's quickly, I know we got to get things going here in a second, but you were mentioning to me tomorrow, not just a sale, you got to focus on racing as well with Pickpocket in the International Stallion Stake. How hard is it to turn that hat from here buying babies to, now we got racehorses that we got to go? I mean, it's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, I joke about being lucky to be able to drive those horses. I've always been an okay driver. Not great. Some days I've been horrible, but not great. And I'm certainly not my brother's, put it that way. And when it comes to that, it is difficult to spend all week at the sale talking with you, talking to clients, going out to dinner, probably put a couple of pounds on, and then going in and coming in cold to drive Carter Michael Dio. Driving horses a lot like being a baseball player or a hockey player. You do have to practice all the time, and being out of it for a week and then just jumping in the bike tomorrow, it's going to be a little nerve-wracking, but as soon as they say go, all that disappears, and it'll be me and Pickpocket against the other horses and drivers out there. And he's been such a good horse for us, and even I think last week again was just another missed opportunity for me, where I had won the Gold Cup in Saucer with Sintra, and it didn't really boil over in me emotionally until halfway down the lane, where with Pickpocket, that was a big race. Yeah. It was a huge race the other day, and to me, I just zipped off my colors and went to dinner, and it didn't dawn on me until I was sitting there having a drink with my wife that, man, you just won the Bluegrass.
Won a Grand Circuit race at the Red Mile.
It's a great feeling, and he's a special horse, and we're going to have a lot of fun with him moving forward, too.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to tomorrow watching him race, and guess what?
Most importantly about tomorrow, we're back.
We're back.
Under popular demand. I think CBS found some more money for us.
Yep.
And
I might be replaced by tomorrow, too, though. Like Tom Brokaw or someone's coming in, but hey.
This is Anderson Cooper coming to you from the Lexington.
I'm excited that we get to stick around, see a little racing tomorrow. That's the one thing I wish it still was. Like, they used to be 5 days a week of live racing here.
Yeah.
And you had the sales at night, and so pretty much your whole week it was double headers. Maybe it's a little more manageable this way.
People are dropping like flies when we had all day racing and sales.
They still are dropping like flies, but I mean, hey, that's all right. We've had a good time, and we'll be back for day number 5 tomorrow.
So excited.
Yeah, I'm
so excited. Day 5 is different. People don't understand. Day 5
it'll be
is
packed here tomorrow night.
Yeah, huge. Yeah. It's like an entire planet descends, a different planet descends on the sale, because these are all different regional horses being offered. So you have people coming in from Illinois, Ohio, Indiana. It's so weird. It's like a totally different sale just appeared on the last day of Lexington. It's really cool to watch the transformation, and I am glad that we're coming back tomorrow. It was great. So thanks, Gail. Keep up the hard work.
Love it. Looking forward to it. Good luck today, Anthony, and everybody. Enjoy your afternoon. The sale's getting underway in just a second. LexingtonSelected.com is where you can watch the live stream. Have a great afternoon, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Take care.